Okay, guys, I just wanted to jump on here just to do a quick video. Um, there are a lot of things happening in the world, and one of the things that everybody is aware of is that now the hostages are going to be released. According to reports, by Monday, Tuesday at the latest, and this is the new peace plan. However, at the same time, there's been something interesting coming out of Europe. And I think the two things are related to some degree. So the European Central Bank met today and they talked, this was Christine Lagarde, and they talked about world affairs, and they talked specifically about the timing that we're in right now. And Christine Lagarde got up and said that now is the time to supplant the US dollar, the US petrodollar, as the world reserve currency. They want to supplant this with the euro. Now, how likely that is not really the point at the minute. It is the point that we're seeing geopolitical shifting. And this is a move in the sort of realm that we're seeing a departure between Europe and America, a certain friction growing. And at the basis of all this, I believe that there's an economic standpoint. If we go back to June of this year, there was a meeting in China it's a World Economic Forum meeting called the Meeting of Champions. And they had all their usual boards. And one of those boards was an economic board. And they talked about the coming new world order. Now, specifically what they were talking about was the economic world order that we're moving into. And a few areas were mentioned. So China was mentioned as one of the upcoming poles in terms of dominance in the world. And their dominance is based upon industrialization. Then you had America, where I am right now, and they says that their policy of tariffs and kind of America first policy has put them into a policy of economic defense. But that will mean that one is a pole and another is a pole. But then they mentioned that there would be a third pole in this new world order. And interestingly enough, they said that this would be the European Union. Now, the European Union, for me, is incredibly interesting because if we talk about a reconstituted Roman Empire in terms of the fulfillment of Daniel 9:27, the fulfillment of what we see as the beast empire coming in the book of Revelation, then when we start taking stock of what is happening there, it has to garner your interest at least. So in this meeting, they talked about how the new European model would look in terms of a new economic order. And one of the panelists, an expert, said that he believed that the new European Union economic policy would be based on authoritarianism or totalitarianism. And I think that, just checking my microphone isn't hitting that, would be totalitarianism. And that's interesting because when you see someone like Christine Lagarde, the head of the European Central Bank, stand up and say that now is the time to supplant and replace the American dollar with the euro, then you're starting to see the rising of a system and certainly the garnering of an attitude that says that we want to be top dog or at least in the running. For me, this is notable, it's interesting, and it's something to take stock of when you're looking at the reshaping of the world. Now, I don't particularly think that Donald Trump will take this lying down, this kind of statement, nor the fact that it's coming out at a time in which he is garnering what both he and actually probably most of the world is, hailing as one of the biggest peace agreements that the world has seen, which again has prophetic implications. But when you look at this, I think that at the heart of this as well is Europe, with the motive, Europe does not want peace. Now, we've seen that in terms of their attitude to going back to a two-state solution attitude. And I know that when we look at through the 21-point plan of Donald Trump, it also has a two-state solution in it. But the attitude of recognizing a Palestinian state and rewarding Hamas came out of Europe. But also, when you look at their attitude towards Ukraine and Russia, now, yes, this is something that is worldwide, but the coalition of the willing that was recently put together, European countries to put boots on the ground in Ukraine, to put planes in the air over Ukraine, to basically be a dominant factor in this war. I think that Europe is hungry for war. Why? I think that they realize that in the shifting of a world order, something like a major catastrophic point adds weight to that shifting. Specifically, if the goal or the destination of where they want to shift to is totalitarianism, because that's good for the economic market, then I think someone coming on and bringing, bartering or sort of brokering, that's the word, brokering a peace deal, puts them on the bullseye for the European Union. Now, these are just my thoughts, but I just wanted to jump on and say this today, that the words that she was saying, the rhetoric coming out from Christine Lagarde, the rhetoric coming out from the European Central Bank, specifically towards America, will not be taken lightly, in my opinion, by the American administration, but also has so many prophetic overtones in it that you cannot miss it right now. So guys, we're about to head over to the conference. Met up with JB earlier, met up with L.A. Marzulli earlier. Hoping, I think Pete Garcia gets in soon, so I'll catch up with him. But I just wanted to jump on here and say a few things so you got your news update, so to speak. So guys, God bless. I call you the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, kings, queens, and high priests in Jesus' mighty name. And remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Guys, God bless.